Stuart Varney is one of the most pompous Fox hosts, and he also says some of the dumbest stuff, but since he has a British accent, it sounds like slightly less stupid than it really is. This week, he decided to act like Amazon is this giant victim of bad tax policy. Let's watch, and then I'm going to give you the reality.
They did it. The socialists of the Seattle City Council pushed through a tax on workers. If you run a business there and you gross $20 million, you will have to pay the city $275 a year for every employee, and that charge will rise in future years. This fits neatly into the tax the rich nonsense that the left has been peddling for the November elections. Seattle has a homeless problem, so the City Council demands money from big business. It's always the same. You've got it, we need it, pay up. Seattle is ignoring the huge jump in revenues that business has already delivered to the city. It's roughly doubled in the last 8 years, from $2 to over $4 billion. But that's not enough. It's never enough. Seattle's new tax is just another example of the left's dislike of capitalism, and big businesses in particular. Amazon and Starbucks, they are the city's two biggest employers and will be saddled with most of the bill. This is ridiculous. Amazon guy Jeff Bezos detests President Trump, and Starbucks' Howard Schultz has gone out of his way to make his company a social justice standout. But the socialists have no time for them. They are, after all, capitalists. It's called cutting off your nose to spite your face. Seattle will not solve its homeless problem with this tax, but it will chase jobs away. It should really be called ideological purity, because the socialists are not going to help their fellow citizens, but they will hurt the businesses they so thoroughly detest.
That was glorious. Amazon is a victim of bad tax policy. When are we going to give Amazon a break? You know, the company where they have terrible working conditions and the drivers need to do their work so quickly that they literally carry jars around to piss in. When are we going to give that company a break? When are we going to give the owner of that company and the leaders in that company a break? They're so fucking victimized, I know. And to defend them, specifically in the realm of tax policy, takes balls. Why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe this report that came out not that long ago. This is from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. They report Amazon paid $0 in federal taxes in 2017, gets $789 million windfall from new tax law. So let me explain something to you, Stuart Varney. You know what Amazon is? It's a fucking welfare queen. It gets a giant corporate welfare check from the government. $789 million windfall from the tax law. They paid $0 in federal taxes. So how the fuck are they a victim? Because Seattle decided to put a tiny tax on them to help the homeless population a little bit? Do you have any idea how stupid you sound to anybody who's educated on this shit? Like, he sounds just mind-numbingly stupid, to the point where you can't help but conclude this is just rank propaganda. Like, Stuart doesn't even believe what he's saying. Do you believe what you're saying, Stu? Do you really believe what you're saying? Because if you do, wow. Holy shit, that's sad. Wow, is that sad. And he even admitted in there, the Seattle law they're talking about, like, he's trying to do this whole, the businesses, all the victims rant. But he even said, this tax only applies to businesses that gross $20 million or more. So in other words, this does not impact small businesses at all. But if you're a business that has grossed $20 million or more, okay, then you get this small tax that goes to help the homeless population. So let me get this straight, Stu. The homeless population, they're not victims. They're not, roadkill on the side of a system that doesn't give a fuck about them and views human beings like, parts of a machine or a cog in a wheel or whatever the fuck. It's not the homeless people who are victims. It's the fucking mega corporations that happen to be, Amazon, I'm sure, is one of the most rich corporations ever. I know Jeff Bezos is literally the richest man on earth. He has over $100 billion, and he doesn't even pay his people a living wage. And dipshit McGeezax here trots out and he's like, oh, the victim, Amazon and Jeff Bezos. When will the over $100 billion guy get a break, huh? When will that happen? When will the homeless people get a break? How about that? You're talking about the most minor tweak of wealth redistribution imaginable, and he's outraged. He's not outraged that homeless people exist. He's not outraged at extreme poverty where half of workers in America make $30,000 a year or less. He's not outraged by our infrastructure getting a grade of D+. He's not outraged by Flint not having clean water. He's outraged that a company that paid zero in federal taxes and the owner of that company has over $100 billion. He's outraged that guy will be slightly inconvenienced by a tiny tax that might help some homeless people. Jesus, man. Put down the Ayn Rand book, Stu. I mean, it's really, really making you look like a clown.